Hello guys, what is up? This is the Big Show NYC and I'm here with
MJ Storm 21.
and we're here to do some preseason predicting on the NBA season. We're going to be covering the divisions on the East, the West, and we're also going to be doing the playoff predictions as well as the awards predictions, all before the season starts. So first off, we're going to be doing the East in this episode. Which division do you want to start off with?
I think we can start off with the Atlantic Division in the
All
East.
right, I'll start that one off since the Knicks are my favorite team. So yeah, first off in the Atlantic Division, we have the Brooklyn Nets going 49 and 33, having the first place and clinching the division. Now, the reason why I think they're going to go 49 and 33 is because, well, it's kind of obvious. They got a ton of people during the offseason. They made the blockbuster trade to get Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and Kevin Garnett. And they pretty much gave away some of their other players that were pretty much mediocre. Um, Also, they picked up Andrei Korolenko. They did a lot of things, and they have pretty much a superstar team now. Um, yeah, their team is kind of old, but I think they're going to do some great things. I think that signing Jason Kidd as the coach was kind of a bad idea because he has a bad ego. He has no prior experience of being a coach. He's a good mentor, but he's not really the greatest coach ever, I don't think. And I think he's going to get fired during, like, sometime during the season or something, and they're going to bring a new coach. But they will still go 49 and 33, having the best record in the division. Second, I have the New York Knicks, my favorite team, going 46 and 36. Now they had a decent offseason. They got Andrea Bargnani, however you want to pronounce his name, and well, he has terrible defense. He does not know how to rebound. He's not very aggressive, but he's a good stretch forward. He can shoot, and well, that's pretty much it. He's just a stretch forward, really. Um, and also he's very injury prone. He hasn't really showed any of his potential being that first round, first pick overall back in 2006, I believe, or something like that. And I don't think he's ever really going to show that, but he is injury prone. And I didn't really like that pick too much, but hey, we need someone to start at power forward, and whatever. We got rid of Steve Novak, who was kind of pissing me off last year, anyways. We also got Bino Udrih. He's a decent point guard. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tim Hardaway Jr. this year. I think he played pretty well during the preseason, and yeah, I don't think we're going to be as good as we were last year, but I see it's going 46 and 36. Third, we have the Toronto Raptors going 39 and 43. The reason why I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, the reason why I think they're going to end off being under 500 is because, well, they have a decent team. They have a young squad. They have DeMar DeRozan and Rudy Gay. I don't think Rudy Gay is that great. I think DeMar DeRozan has potential, and every year he gets better and better. But I just don't think they have the best squad. I don't think they're going to be able to make the playoffs this year. But they have a decent team. Then I have the Boston Celtics, who are tanking this year, going 29 and 53. Now I think they're going to get this many wins because, I don't think their team is even that bad. I think they have Rondo. They have Gerald Wallace, he's okay. They have Marshawn Brooks, who will come off the bench. They have Jeff Green, obviously, who is a beast. But I don't think Jeff Green's going to be as good as everyone thinks he will be. But I think they're going to be good enough to get about 29 wins. Kind of without wanting to, but at the same time wanting to win as well. And then lastly, the Philadelphia 76ers having a terrible season, going 22 and 60. They're obviously tanking. They have no coach, really. I don't even know who the coach is. And they are just not a good team. And, they have Thaddeus Young. They have Evan Turner. They have Michael Carter Williams, who will shoot 25% this season. Well, not really, but still. And just, they're not going to be good. They're obviously tanking, and I don't see any point in really saying the Philadelphia 76ers doing that well this season. So 22 and 60 for them.
All right, so I'm going to be up next. So first place in the Atlantic Division for me will be the Brooklyn Nets, just like you, but I have them
Ooh.
going 55 and 27. I think you look at this roster team, and as Ellie said, it's a superstar team. You got a couple of old guys, but those old guys, they have backups who are really good. Paul Pierce, Andrei Kirilenko. He used to be a starter. He used to be not an
Snubs.
all-star, but he was one of those not not really snubs, but he was on top of there. Just wasn't at that all-star level yet. Then you have for KG, you have Mason Plumlee, you have Reggie Evans, Andre Bloch. Those are already three great backups for KG. So I don't really think they have to worry about Paul Pierce or Kevin Garnett, really. The one thing, though, I have a problem with, and you said this too, Jason Kidd being hired as their coach. I feel like they could have gotten a better coach, and I just don't think he's going to be good in the first year. I don't think he's going to be good with this sort of team. And I just don't think it's going to, like, work out. I don't think he's going to get fired, like you said. I think they're going to be very, I just totally forgot the word. Winning, I guess. I just totally blanked out, my bad. But all in all, this team is a really good team, and one of those teams that can dethrone Miami from their championship spot. So then number 2, I'm going to have the New York Knicks going at 49-33. If Amari comes back to this team, I feel like this is not a good position for them. I think they want to try and just bench Amari because Mari and Melo cannot work together at all. We've seen it. It doesn't work. They can't make it work. Not last year, but I think 2 years ago when the whole Linsanity popped up, they might have missed the playoffs if it weren't for Linsanity. Okay? Because they just were just a mess. Because both of them were playing Melo and Amari, and they just couldn't work together.
Giant winning streak.
And he was yeah. I mean, the Bargnani and Tim Hardaway additions, I don't really see them as upsides. Maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. just because, you know, his father was Tim Hardaway, so you can always have that little gene in there. You never know. Bargnani has shown to be a bust first-round pick, and I don't even feel like he's considered a starter, but this team's going to end up having him there. And since he can shoot the three, it's kind of good for the Knicks since they like to have a spread four. So, yeah, Knicks going to be 49-33. Just not going to be as good as last year, though. Then I'm going to have the Toronto Raptors going 40-42. I feel like this is one of the many teams that could possibly tank, but only if they can get rid of Rudy Gay and his big contract. Because Rudy Gay, not really an all-star. He does have the talent. We just don't see it come out from him. But this team has a lot of young talent, and if they can get rid of Rudy Gay, then that one position that they need filled up, the small forward spot, be ready, and possibly for Andrew Wiggins if they could tank. I mean, could be a strategy coming back to Canada. But I don't think they're going to be able to get Rudy Gay traded away. That's why I have them having such a not tanking record, I guess you could say. And just because the East is not that great in terms of you have these super teams and then just rebuilding teams. I feel like they're kind of like the Bucks of last year where they're just kind of in it and they're going to be like getting a 7th or 8th spot. I just feel like that's how it's going to be with Toronto, and really nothing more to say by them. They have Valanciunas also, who this is his year that he has to prove that, you know, all this hype about him, I don't even know why.
Yeah, they were hyping him up whenever he was drafted in 2011.
But if this hype is real or not, so yeah. Then I have the Boston Celtics going 26-56. Obviously rebuilding. How long will Rondo be out?
Yeah.
Well, we still don't know. I don't think they've said it yet, actually. How will health benefit them? Will they have injuries to young guys, or will they be healthy? And will Olynyk be a dark horse for the Rookie of the Year? He's shown in the preseason, he's shown in the Summer League that he looks really good. Because everybody overshadowed him just because he was on that number 1 Gonzaga squad who got upset, I believe, in the round of 32 or the Sweet 16 in the March Madness. Yeah, I can't remember. But everybody was thinking Gonzaga was really overrated despite their record, and Olynyk kind of got overshadowed, so he kind of dropped in the draft, and the Boston Celtics were able to snatch him right up. But like I said, with how will health go with them? Will Sullinger be okay? Will Rondo be okay? will guys like Jeff Green, Avery Bradley, will they show up and play how they usually play? This team has pieces, but you said that you think they're a decent team. I disagree with you because all in all, we think that they have a chance to do like these young teams with talent. We think that they have a chance to do really
Yeah,
well.
I don't think they're
But
going to
we
be
saw
a
from
great
Cleveland
team. I only
last
predicted them
year
to get 3 more
that
wins than you
that
predict
wasn't
them.
the answer.
I'm just saying that I think they're going to by accident win a few games. Like, they're an okay team. They're not bad, but they're not great. And with Rondo out, they're definitely not going to win many games.
All right, then the last team that I have in the Atlantic Division is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers, going 20-62. I feel like this team is going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA, mostly tanking for that first pick. We don't know how long Nerlens Noel could be sitting out. He says he'll come back in November, but I don't know because really there's no reason to rush him since you kind of want to lose games. So no reason to rush him for now. Then I'm predicting MCW, Michael Carter Williams, to be a bust. I just don't like his game. I didn't like it at Syracuse. I did not like the
Summer League.
summer league play by him. He wasn't impressive to me. I don't understand why he was getting a lot of love. Yes, he's a tall point guard for the position, of course, but he just doesn't have the skill set, I feel like.
Yeah, he doesn't have a shot either.
So I feel like that's really bad for him, and I just see this just being a whole tanking experience for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't like Michael Carter Williams either. I'm not going to take away that he doesn't have any potential. I think he can become a good player if he works on a better shot and he works on his game and he becomes like smarter and all that. But from what I've seen of how he plays through college and during summer league and all that, he just seems like he was chucking up shots and he didn't know what he was doing. He's not a good leader, and he needs to work on that a lot.
Yeah. All right, so next division coming up will be the Southeast Division, where I'll start it off.
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
All right, so first place in the Southeast Division, I have the Miami Heat, of course, going 62-20. I don't think this team's gonna go on a crazy winning streak again like last year, which is why they had the 66-16 record, I believe. Yeah, 66-16 record. I don't think they're gonna do that again. But they're still good nonetheless. They got Greg Oden, who if he can go to his college level of play, this team is going to be the best team in the NBA by far. But I feel like with the Heat, there's too much competition in the East, or we're seeing a lot of it more than last year, where it was only really Indiana, and some people said New York. I disagree with that. But this team, nonetheless, is still one of the best teams in the NBA, just because they have LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. You got a clutch guy like Ray Allen. I mean, they have the pieces, and it's so hard to three-peat. And this is gonna be a tough mission for LeBron James, but it will be interesting to see how he handles it. Number 2, I'm gonna have the Washington Wizards going 44-40 or 44-38. I'm probably going to shock some people saying this. I'm probably shocking everybody but myself. I think John Wall's going to have a breakout year, prove why he's a first pick. Porter's going to be a great draft pick. And really, this team, nothing's too bad about it. I mean, I like all their positions. The front court in the power forward and center position could be changed with Nene and Okafor. But, I mean, other than that, it's better than other fill-in guys you usually have. But I feel like their first 3 guys are really good. I like their bench pieces that they have. And John Wall was out until February last year, but when he came back, that team was looking really good. They were like 29-53, but I'm pretty sure like they won 20 of those games because of John Wall, if not more, if I'm not mistaken. So John Wall really helped that team, and I think just with another year, he'll be really, really good. So next up is going to be the Atlanta Hawks going 36-46. I'm not really a fan of the Atlanta Hawks. I've never been a fan of them. Of course, them being rivals with my favorite team, the Orlando Magic. but I've just never liked them because they've never really been able to do anything in the playoffs. And then the regular season, like their team is it's good enough, but not good enough to do any upsets or any sort of thing like that. But they did get Paul Millsap. They got rid of Josh Smith, which I think is going to be huge for Al Horford to develop his game and become a much better power forward, center, wherever they want to put him, more than likely center for them. I think Jeff Teague's going to be having a breakout year. I think he's going to have a really good season. I really like Jeff Teague and his style of play. But, I mean, they're just like Dallas. They have a brand new team. A lot of their guys were free agency and went away. They re-signed a couple of them, though. But, I mean, other than that, I just don't think it'll be this fast. I just don't think they're going to be like the Hawks team we've been seeing since 07, 08, where they make the playoffs. Sometimes, usually make the second round, and that's it. I think they're just going to be missing the playoffs this year and kind of just rethink their plan and see what they did. I mean, they were trying to get Dwight. Of course, that didn't work. But, I mean, it is what it is. Then I'm going to have at fourth place being the Charlotte Bobcats going 32-50. Should be making Bobcats fans, all two of them, really happy. Signing Al Jefferson was a huge pickup for them because they don't really play defense in the first place. So you get as much offense as you can, and that could be pretty solid. Michael Carter-Williams has to show why he's a second-round pick. Not show that he's a bust either, because people were thinking that, and I was thinking that too. And I was one of the supporters of MKG, but he didn't really show anything to me. Oh, I really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. My bad.
Yeah.
Stupid
and starting off with Michael.
Things. Or three letter. Gosh. I know, right? Then Kemba Walker just has to keep on doing what he's doing. I really like Cody Zeller. I think this was a really good pickup for them. A lot of people kind of complained about it. I don't see why not. This is a guy who I think could be the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Of course, most people are saying Oladipo. I like Cody Zeller a lot, though, to win it because I just like his style of play. They're both from Indiana, so they both were taught well there when it comes to the basketball IQ. But Zeller he's just so athletic. He's a freak. He's like a Blake Griffin. Some people compare him to, which I wouldn't disagree with. Just his vertical is so high. He can just get explosive, of course. I just don't really know how well he is on defense since I don't know that much about his defensive game or his outside shot. But this Bobcats team is going to be much better than it's been for the past 3 or so years. And then I'm going to have my favorite team, the Orlando Magic, going 26-56. And I feel like the Magic moving Oladipo to the point guard position is mostly for tanking purposes because I feel like they see how well this core gels up, and they're trying to also make it so if they do tank this year and Oladipo being a point guard is successful, and what they're trying to do, they can target one of these top three, one of these small forwards. What I mean by that is what they're trying to do is they're trying to make Oladipo a point guard, which if you give him a year, that could happen. They're trying to move Maurice Harkless to a shooting guard. That could happen. That would be a long two guard for them. You fill up that that small forward spot. You have Tobias Harris at the power forward. You have Nikola Vucevic at the center. And then you tank this year. Try and get one of these top 5 picks, where hopefully you can get a guy like Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Julius Randle. Depends on who doesn't do as well in college or not. And then you go for a huge stride the next year because they're going to have so much money freed up. So if they have to re-sign any of these young guys to contracts, they can do it. And then they can sign a superstar if they want to let one away and just get one right now. I love the situation for the Magic. This is just one more bad year, and I feel like they're going to be just taking a huge shot for the 2014-2015 season on making the playoffs, shocking some people. I really like where this Magic team's going, but I think it's just going to be another tanking year for them. So.
Well, I got a few different things for the Southeast Division, but let's start it off. First off, Miami Heat going 56-26. I don't think they're going to have another year where they're going to go 60 wins. Last year they had the gigantic winning streak and they went 66-16, I believe, which is amazing. I'm pretty sure the Celtics went that in like 2007 or something. If I remember. Yeah, that season. And
Oh 07-08 season.
yeah, like I don't think Miami is gonna go another 60 plus wins season. I think they're gonna go 56 and 26. Just seeing as how they were kind of struggling in the playoffs, and also I think injuries may occur and whatnot. And I think Dwayne Wade, like he's just gonna keep on digressing after last year and all that. I love Dwayne Wade, and I just hate to say that, but I think he's not gonna be like as great as he used to be anymore. I think he's just gonna be getting worse off after last year and all that. So 56 and 26. Of course, if Greg Oden plays like how he was predicted to play and all that whenever he was the first pick, then watch the fuck out because this team's gonna be amazing. But I don't think he's gonna be playing at that level. He's just gonna be playing kind of off the bench and whatnot. Second, I have the Atlanta Hawks actually going 42 and 40. Now I don't know why exactly I picked this too much, but I think Paul Millsap. I like him better than Josh Smith, to be honest. Paul Millsap's a great defender, like Josh Smith is a good defender. Millsap can play good offense. He has a jump shot. He has a inside game. He's a short first position, but he's good. I like Paul Millsap a lot, and I like the pickup. I think Jeff Teague is amazing. I think he can become an all-star in his career, and I think he has a lot of potential. He's young and he's really good. Al Horford's really good as well. I think they're gonna play well enough to make the playoffs because the Eastern Conference is really weak anyways. So I think they're gonna get some wins and go 42 and 40 and make the playoffs. Then I have the Washington Wizards going 41 and 41. Now, yeah, I agree with you. I obviously put them to win. I think three less games than you predicted. But yeah, I agree with you. I think John Wall is going to have a breakout season, and also, as you said, John Wall last year, whenever he came back from his injury, they played very well, and I like their point guard, shooting guard, and small forward lineup as well. I like Otto Porter. I like Bradley Beal a lot actually, and I like John Wall. Nene is okay. They're gonna try to play Kevin Seraphin a lot as well. I think they may start Kevin Seraphin a lot, a decent amount sometimes too, and I think Nene is probably gonna get injured anyways. Um, but yeah, I think Washington Wizards are gonna go 41 and 41. Now the Charlotte Bobcats, I was actually predicting them to be not that bad last year, and I gave them kind of the benefit of the doubt, but they ended up doing very badly last year. And I'm not going to say they're going to do any better this year. Yes, they signed Al Jefferson, but I'm still thinking 26. Hmm? I was
What
about to say right
record?
now. Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
record
Sorry.
for them,
I thought you forgot
I'm
the record.
predicting
My
is
bad.
56. I mean, yeah, what am I saying? 20, 26 and 56. Now they can do better. I'm not taking that away from them, but I think they're gonna want to tank another year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they, on purpose, just play like a complete shit like they have played for the past 3 years, because they really really want to get um they really want to get Jabari Parker, Andrew Wiggins, or maybe even Julius Randle and play him with a three or something like that. They really want to get someone from this draft, and I feel like if they got 30 plus wins this season, that would be a huge error on their part. I think they're going to want to play badly, and I think that if they want to finally just complete this big tank, they just want to just tank this season. This is a very important season that they want to tank, and I think that they're not going to get that great of a season. I think they're going to go 26 and 56, even though they signed Big Al. Lastly, the Orlando Magic going 24 and 58. Now, yeah, obviously an amazing young squad. They have a lot of experimenting to do this year, and I think that they're gonna pretty much just they're not gonna really think about winning that much. They're gonna think about tanking more so, and they're gonna be thinking about experimenting more so. Like with Mark Lewis maybe playing at the shooting guard spot, seeing who's gonna be more fit for starting. If Aaron Aflalo would fit in the starting lineup, if Tobias Harris is gonna be a six-man or a starter, if Harkless is gonna be a six-man or a starter, and all that stuff. So they're gonna be experimenting that, and that's very important for Orlando Magic to see right now. And it's really important that they stay healthy this year instead of getting injured, because this is a very young squad with tons of potential. And I actually really like the Magic because I don't know, I really like young teams, and I think that they have a great process going on right now, and I want to see them actually do pretty well in the future. So yeah, I think they're going to go 24 and 58. and have a hell of a season next year, possibly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Southeast Division.
All right, so now you can start off the Central Division.
All right, so the Central Division. First off, I got the Chicago Bulls going 57 and 25. The Chicago Bulls just got Derrick Rose back. A huge thing. Derrick Rose is amazing, and some people may say he's overrated. Some people may say he doesn't deserve that MVP. I wasn't paying attention to basketball that much that season, but from what I see, for what I saw, the Bulls did have the best record. That's part of the reason why he got MVP. And his explosiveness, his courageousness, and how amazingly he did play. Derrick Rose, I think, did deserve that MVP, and I think Derrick Rose is one of the best players in the NBA, probably a top 3 player, if not. And I don't know how he's going to do this year, but I think he's going to come back with complete vengeance. And I think he's going to be amazing. And I think he's going to lead this Bulls team that went pretty sure 46 and 36 last year without Derrick Rose to just go on to 57 and 25, because pretty much they were kind of lacking the point guard spot except for Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson filled that void amazingly. I'm not going to take them out of that. But Derrick Rose being back is huge. And the Chicago Bulls, I think, are going to go 57 and 25 and kind of prove the doubters who are thinking they're overrated wrong. Second, Indiana Pacers going 51 and 31. Amazing offseason. They got, I'm pretty sure, Luis Scola, who has starter capabilities coming off the bench. I think he's better than Tyler Hansborough. Of course, I think Tyler Hansborough is better in some aspects. I think Luis Scola is better in other, but overall, Scola is better than Hansborough, and I'm happy that they made that choice. They have an amazing bench, and their team just got a lot better in just one offseason. I thought they couldn't have gotten better, but they're going all out this year, and they made some good decisions. And from seeing what they did last year in the playoffs, man, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do this year. So 51 and 31. Third off, the Detroit Pistons going 44 and 38. Now, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with the point guard position. They got Brandon Jennings for a reason. They're obviously going to start him. I don't think they're going to start Peyton Siva. But Brandon Jennings is injured. He's going to be out for I believe the first 2 weeks or something like that. He got injured like I think a week ago or something. They say he's going to be out for 3 weeks. I don't know if he's going to be out from 3 weeks from now or 3 weeks starting of the season, but I'm not really sure. But point is that I think he's going to miss a few games, and I think they're going to start him overall, though. They have Peyton Siva coming off the bench. They got Josh Smith. They have Greg Monroe, Andre Drummond. I think they have an amazing starting lineup. They have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's actually a good player as well. And yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs this year, and I think they're going to do quite well, going 44 and 38. Nothing else to really say. They have a pretty good team. They have a young squad, and I can see them doing all right. All right, now fourth off, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers going 39 and 43. Now, I don't know. I felt like this division was kind of hard to judge, based off of just there are some good teams, but they're young, and I still do not like the choice of them getting Anthony Bennett. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know whether they're going to start him at the 3. I don't know whether they're going to start him at the 4 and make Tristan Thompson come off the bench as a 6th man. I don't know what their choices are. They could have went for a lot better things getting the first pick overall, but they went and got Anthony Bennett, who is a good player, but I don't know how they're going to fit him in. And I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to have an over 500 season this year. So, yeah. Then I have the Milwaukee Bucks going 30 and 52. Now the Milwaukee Bucks are obviously they're a completely new team now. They got rid of Brandon Jennings. They got rid of Monte Ellis. Well, they didn't really want Monte Ellis back. The only player that really was on the team last year was I'm pretty sure John Henson's still on the team. Larry Sanders is on the team. They signed him to an extension. They got Brandon Knight now. They have Caron Butler. And they're just a completely new team now, and I don't think they're going to really want to win that many games. So I see them going 30 and 52, probably even doing worse. That's being a bit generous to them, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the Central Division. You want to take it on?
All right. So to start off this division, In first place, I do have the Chicago Bulls, like you, but I have them going conference leading 64-18. You got to remember this. This team was one of the best teams, best regular season teams with Tom Thibodeau and Derrick Rose being with them. Derrick Rose being healthy, Tom Thibodeau being the coach. I think they had like two 60 plus win seasons. I mean, it's crazy. And if Rose is healthy, this team can be really deadly because he takes off all the pressure off the other players that they had last year. And look how good they still did last year without him. Now you add on to Derrick Rose, who, might I add, this whole year he's been probably shooting jump shots. He probably improved that immensely. So now you have to worry about him getting having a jump shot a lot more than you used to. I mean, that's just scary. That is just really scary. And he showed in the preseason game he won't mind attacking the basket for preseason. I really liked that when it was against Indiana. Probably when you're seeing this a few nights ago. But overall, I like this team. Really defensive oriented. Love Tom Thibodeau as a coach. And this takes pressure off Luol Deng, who I think is going to have a much better season. Joakim Noah, if he can stay healthy, going to have a really good season. And I like everything about this team, and
Definitely.
I feel like
great bench. Jimmy Butler, my God, he's gonna be starting this year. I'm really psyched to see that. He's one of my favorite players right now. Very young, a lot of potential, and they have a killer starting lineup. They have a killer bench and everything.
I agree. Then I have the Indiana Pacers going 56 and 26. And I feel like this team has a lot of questions for them. Will Danny Granger be a difference maker? Will Paul George be overrated? Will they trade Danny Granger for a real point guard? I don't like George Hill as their point guard. I've said this to Ellie and other people multiple times. I just don't like it. I don't think it's a fit, and I feel like that's the one reason why they're not a championship contending team. I think Luis Scola, though, with them will... I don't know how big of a deal he was that people made him see. I still think they should have stayed with Tyler Hansbrough, just because I was a fan of... I really like Tyler Hansbrough, despite him being North Carolina when I'm a Duke fan. But nonetheless, I think this team is going to be really, really good. Could upset the Heat, since just you have those big guys, David West, Roy Hibbert down low. I mean, good luck dealing with them. But this team has a lot of questions for them, and I honestly have no idea how they're going to react. So my record that I predicted for them could be pretty off, or it could be, how it is. But I have them going 56 and 26 nonetheless. Then I'm going to have the Detroit Pistons going 47 and 35. They obviously made huge moves in this season. But how is their starting lineup going to fit together? You have Brandon Jennings, who we know was a ball hog. We have Josh Smith, who was a ball hog. Both those two, might I add, being headaches for teams, like how Zach Randolph was to the New York Knicks. Just a big headache. And I feel like that's gonna they're gonna regret that. And then you have Andre Drummond trying to prove that he's not a bust. And I mean, so many guys who are gonna want to have the ball. I feel like this is just not gonna work out too much. Them, though, having Chauncey Billups to help this team, I think is going to be really, really big for them. But I feel like they had to do this just to start pleasing the Detroit fans, because they had so much success for tons and tons of years. But once they traded for Allen Iverson, it all went downhill, really. And I feel like this is just a bad move by them, getting the Jennings and the Josh Smith. Like I said, what are they supposed to do? Tell their fans another year? Detroit fans won't accept that. And then that's all I really have to say about them. Then I'm going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they're going to be going 41 and 41. I think they're going to lose a lot of close games, because they were like the Magic last year, and they were pretty close in most of their games. They just couldn't win it out. Bynum is apparently working out, which I think is good for them. I think this team is just good enough for a 500 record. I don't know how the Bennett thing is. I didn't really look at him in college, so I can't say anything, honestly. if it was bad or good. I would have to say it was just an interesting first pick though by them.
Also, might I add on that the Cleveland Cavaliers, they do not know what they're going to do with Deion Waiters either. They don't know whether they're going to have Deion Waiters come off the bench or they're going to have Jared Jack be the sixth man or the starter. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how they're going to work that out. Because I remember last year at one point they had Deion Waiters be the sixth man for like about 15 games or so, and he actually did better. He actually averaged more points. He averaged better percentage, and they're not sure what they're going to do with that. So that's another question for the Cavaliers and what they're going to do with the guards.
Not know that makes it interesting. Indeed, it
Yeah.
does. But anyways, I pretty much said everything about them. Kyrie Irving, of course, being one of the best young point guards in the league, and I'll just leave it at that. Then I'm gonna have the Milwaukee Bucks going 21-61. This team really doesn't have anything to look forward to besides Larry Sanders, and I feel like this team needs to just tank, start over, and just because they don't want to turn into what they had last year, a seventh or eighth playoff team that doesn't really do anything, and they can't get good picks, and they can't make their team better because the Milwaukee's just not an like a satisfying place. Like people rather go to anywhere else besides Milwaukee. No offense to Milwaukee, I've never been there, but it just even Brandon Jennings said it's kind of eh. So I feel like
Go to Green Bay.
I feel like though that the only way they could get people to come is if if they draft smart, they build up their team and then make a push, and then maybe people will be like, hey, let's go here and try maybe a Detroit setup where they used to have, but nonetheless, really no talent to look forward to besides Sanders and Henson. And will they have better years this year? That's also a question for them. And that's it.
All right, so that was the Eastern Conference. If you guys have any sort of predictions that you have for yourself for the Eastern Conference, let us know in the comments. If you have any disagreements or just your predictions in general, and we're going to be looking forward to seeing that. Go watch the next episode if you want to see the Western Conference and whatnot, and then we're also going to have another part where we say everything else. So, thank you all for watching, and peace.